Hello, welcome back. I am Ren, technical designer at UX is Fine, and today we're doing the GMTK Game Jam. We're going to make a world building, deck building game, deck building world builder, in which you have a loop, which is the theme of the jam loop. You have a core loop where you start with a small tile, select a tile, you have a hand of cards where you build a tile area, little world area. You have some structures that you can place down on these, and you can name those. You then do a second loop, build those out, and then once you've complete, you've got a little area like this. Hey Bernardo, welcome back to the stream. We will then zoom out, and you spend the resources that you gain from these structures that you've placed down. You get these little these icons fill as time goes by, and sort of like an idle clicker, sort of like progression game, you can just buy one of these tiles, loop back again, and do the same until you build this big open world. And so we're over in Unreal Engine now. I'm just looking at some material stuff, trying to get the colors of this to match the Figma. So when I look at these colors and I look at this, I notice a difference between these nice brights and these colors here. In my engine view, I still don't get those real nice, crisp, like the warm colors. I'm not getting the warm colors. I can see the warm colors here. And if I go into unlit, I get those warm colors again. It's actually very close to the original color spectrum. Let's have a look here. So here to here, even this actually, this is brighter than this. And so all I want to do is make sure that I have these nice warm colors in a lit scene. So this is the wrong color palette, right? And the reason that I want it to be colored is because I want to be able to add point lights to this scene at nighttime so that we can have a day-night loop where the lighting gets a little bit darker, but there's these point lights around lighting the scene. It just gives this nice effect, right? And when you're zoomed out, you'll have like the cities are glowing across the forests and stuff. It's kind of what I want to do. Maybe it's not the most critical part of the game jam, to be honest, so I might just ignore it for now, but it does bother me. It does bother me somewhat. Also, when we start, sometimes we're facing in the wrong direction. Let's take a look here at the skylight again. Just pop this up to 1 times. So just comparing the colors between the raw image and what I have in the scene, I can see that, yeah, these warm colors are missing, right? So one thing that I could try, I just want to get the post-processing going, because otherwise I'm going to be thinking about it for the whole game jam. All I've got to do is color match these somehow. So if we go to exposure, compensation, turn this off, what I need to do is actually unbound the post-process as well. So let's go to exposure. That is unbound now. No, keep it unbound, please. Yeah, so I blame the camera settings. Yes. Yeah, when I hit play and I go and take a look at this, I don't know if it's just me, but I am spotting a difference between this color, mostly these warm colors. At least when I'm hitting play, the colors aren't changing when I hit play, so that's good. So now post-process here. I'm going to try and play around with some settings. I could add a lot of bloom to, I don't know, just make it feel a little bit more mystical. That might be a cool idea to do. Maybe it's the light. Yeah, I have a skylight in here. If I don't have the skylight, obviously nothing is lit. I'm getting more adverts than usual on my music, which is really annoying. Screw it. I'm going for non-advert music. I was trying to listen to Lord of the Rings music, but it's just not going to let me. So we're just going to listen to these no-ad playlists that I have prepared. Okay. If you change it to unlit, it has a perfect one-to-one representation, or if I was to turn the post-process off, probably a bit better. In fact, it's not even the best representation in this one-to-one here. If I go to the outliner, click on one of these planes, check out the material, possibly just disable this preserve color space node. It brightens it up a little bit here. Remove this contrast here. So this now, one-to-one with what I see in this viewport, because obviously this texture viewer is an unlit viewport, right? But the problem with unlit is that, well, like I don't have control over the skylight. I can't really make it nighttime without editing hundreds of material instances, or at least a material parameter collection to turn everything darker at nighttime during a day-night loop, which will be a loop in the loop game conceptually. If I want to have a point light like this, there's a point light over here that would be like in a city. At least if it's lit, and I go to the skylight and I turn the skylight down to like 0.2, this could be our nighttime, right? And you can imagine you have a bunch of tiles. Obviously, you're not going to have deserts next to forests, but you're at nighttime, and when you zoom out, you've got these like little lights just sort of like dipped around the world where the cities are. It just has like a cool look to it. And in fact, I could go even darker on the skylight here to like 0.1, and now we have this cool representation of like nighttime. What if you multiply for a small number the emissive? You can fake with a decal. You can fake with decal. I'm not sure. So we're lit now. Go back to 1 on our skylight. This obviously really washed out. Let's turn our nighttime light concepts off. Let's bring back our default color here. So this is what we want. I'm going to go to our post process and continue toying with this. So for the bloom, I'm just going to put that back to 1. For the exposure, if I set that to 0, it gets too dark. 1, 0.5. 0.5 kind of works actually. Possibly. But I do want it to be bright. I do want it to be bright and welcoming as a game's just as the game. I want it to be bright and welcoming. And one thing that I'm seeing is that just the color, it's just not the same saturation. Could turn the metering. It's too dark. Could turn the skylight up, or I could change to a whiter texture here. Or itchy ear. I've been watching your lives for the last couple of days, and dude, thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge. You're welcome. That's why I'm here. Happy to do it. Excited to do it. happy. I have, um, I'm part of a company who is very just welcoming. It's very, um, the word community comes to mind, basically. They're cool guys. So yeah, they want to see this. They want to open the doors to talent. They want to see people succeed. Um, they want to share knowledge. So I'm lucky to have landed in a job where I can do this, and that it's a welcome part of sort of the ecosystem that they're fostering. And so go check them out. Their UX is fine on LinkedIn. Follow them on there. Follow us on YouTube to show your support. But yeah, I'm glad that I'm able to do these streams. It's really good fun. Okay, it's also stressful sometimes. Like moments like this, where I just want to get a good representation of my scene going. So the difference between a light gray cube map, gray cube map, I did also import a white cube map. Let me get my other content browser open. I'm going to bring this over here out of the way. So that's the difference between the gray texture cube map, my white texture cube map, and this gray dark. Gray dark looks like that. Gray light looks like this, and then this is white. So we can just stick with gray light. I think the only thing I want to really do now is just play with the saturation on the camera settings here. In fact, what can I do here? Nothing and nothing matters, so that's good. I've turned auto exposure off in the project settings as well. Yeah, this makes it very Inscription. Like if you've ever played Inscription, you have this kind of look. I actually get a nice contrast change. If you look at the differences between these two sand textures and between these two colors here, when I turn this on, even though I'm not editing the value, the contrast actually changes in my favor, which is good. Oh, I thought that UX is fine was your company. Do you have a channel just for your content? It's Loki Game Dev if you want to follow me in places, but I am going to be working here from now until the foreseeable future, so this will be where all the content lives. I don't post any content on my own channel. Well done, Cat. Cat just knocked something over. I don't post anything on my own channel at the moment. Everything that I post, apart from a couple of things on my Twitter or my X, I post a few things on my X. It just sounds so wrong. On my Twitter, I post like some random gifs and stuff of things that I do in like my morning routine, but it's not like crazy stuff. What would be really cool is to follow my developer account on Steam, which is Loki Game Dev again. Loki Game Dev is just that whole ecosystem of my stuff. But pretty much all of my effort is spent working on this channel. So we'll have some videos coming out soon where it's like history of certain things in UI UX. We'll have more collabs, more game jams, more full games, more training, like learn along stuff that we do. So everything will be under the UX is fine side. But yeah, if you want to follow me, I have a Discord, so you can follow me on the Discord as well. It's up the contrast or up the saturation. And as I up the saturation, it does get those warm colors over here, but also these blues start to change. So I think I might need that contrast. And then as I increase that contrast, everything is becoming too dark. So then I'm like, okay, maybe I play with the gain. And then I'm just going to leave it there. I think I'm happy with that sort of lighting. Okay, I'm just going to check it on my other monitor. Oh god, it's way too saturated now. I need to change my monitors around. I really need to change my monitors around. I need to check this over here as well. Yeah, it's way too saturated now. That's disgusting. It needs to be way softer. Way softer. Yeah, what have I done? Yeah, you can see the difference here. It's like soft, saturated. So I'm gonna play with that. Gonna play with that one more time. Post-process details. Maybe it was the gain. A little bit nicer. Yeah, over on this screen over here, everything is like this cute muted color that when I put it on my other monitor that has brighter color space, everything's really saturated. I don't understand why anyone would like this saturated, to be honest. I'm going to light it how I want it by referring to the right-hand screen whilst editing it on my left-hand screen. So just bear with me while I fiddle with some scroll bars, and then I'll be back to actually doing the code soon. Yeah, it's wild how much the colors change. But presumably, I don't know. I hope you're seeing the colors I'm seeing on my other monitor, or the case is that I'm looking at the wrong monitor and this monitor over here is now really washed out. Either way, we're going to crack on. We need to get some of these tasks done. So optimizing texture sizes. If I open up one of these textures, you'll notice it's 840 pixels, right? And so firstly, it's like not 512 power of 2, but maybe it is a power. It's not a power of 2, but maybe it's a scale of 2, so maybe it's okay for compression. But I would have thought that it needs to be 256, 512. That's just something I thought I'd learned, but you know, maybe I'm wrong. In this case, what I want to do is do what I've done to this one. So simple average 1. I've got UI in here, but we can say it's the world. It's fine. Either or. Compression. It's like, yeah, sure, do whatever compression. I don't really have a preference apparently. So, but the main thing I do have a hang up on is that we're not using it at the full scale. So now this is 512, bearing in mind we're going to have a lot of these. Hey, Potato Soup, welcome back. Bearing in mind we're going to have a lot of these, we may want to set this to 2, and that just shrinks it down a lot more. And so if I do that to these trees, I don't particularly notice a difference unless I zoom in, but we're never going to zoom in more than this. So this is going to be like how zoomed in we are anyway. So I'm happy with that. That's like 210 pixels, 256. It's not going to be great on a 4K monitor. And maybe we could cook the game with these at 1 times scale. You can see the difference, I think. If I say 2, 1, 0, 1, okay, it's different one. So you see the difference there, right? That's 2. That's 1. And that's 0. So this is 420. It's 420, my dudes. And then this is 2. If I zoom out to here, this is fine. If you're on a 4K monitor though, maybe it won't look so good because maybe you see those pixels in a more dense fashion. What I'm going to do though is just get it working and get it all compressed down to at least something. So I'm going to go for 2. If I click this textures here, grab everything and go asset actions, edit in property matrix and say, yeah, I want to edit 2,600 tiles. Let's do that. I didn't like my computer anyway. Then we change our MIP settings to simple average on 2,600 assets. We'll just give that, we'll just give it a minute. Wonderful, cool. So that's done. Then put 2 in all of those. So it's going to size everything down. And we'll just wait. We'll wait for it. We'll wait for it. I'm at the point of the day where I'm just blowing hot air at myself. And it's just, it's horrible. We good? Are we good? We're good. World, DX. I kind of want to clamp this, but I'm not going to worry about that. I wonder if this legacy gamma would have helped anything. I might go and try that quickly to see if the gamma is the problem on the color space. Who knows? What I do know is that we've just cut down our memory budget of whatever we use by like 66%. So we're at 33% the cost of what we would have been, and we're still rendering a nice representation of these assets. So we are happy with that. I may have cut out a little bit during that time because I was processing 2,600 assets at a time, but we're done now. What I want to do is go and check out a single particular one of these. Oh, here. I want to try that gamma setting. It did nothing to the I like to use that word representation ever since I watched a technical artist at Epic do a bunch of videos, because it is what you're looking for. You're looking to have a visual representation of something with a certain result. So anyway, that's the start of that. For the tiles, Just for anyone who's joining late, I'm going to do a quick recap. We're doing a games jam. I know we've got like 8-9 viewers now. One of them just dropped. Maybe I should have done this 5 seconds earlier. So we're doing a games jam. Games jam is loot. Let me know if you heard all this before or if you're interested at all. Basically, place down a tile, get a hand of tiles, place them down in a circle, place the buildings down in a circle, start getting resources, place another ring around the outside, place more buildings down. Now you've got a complete little area with little town names. Use your resources to unlock a new area, repeat the process until you get to a larger open world, and then either keep going or prestige, and now all your buildings level up. So all of your small buildings now become tall buildings. All your tall buildings becomes something like this, and maybe you just have stars on them or something. When you're zoomed out, it has a world map kind of view. When you're zoomed in, it's got all the details, little people moving around. We'll see how much of that we get done, but you do get to name everything, so that'll be fun. A Hobbit of Bag End, Wellingtown. Okay, cool. So that's the game. This is the title. Mobile and desktop. It's going to be desktop for now, but I will be making it on mobile is the goal. I want to get back into doing mobile. At which point I might actually turn off the lighting because it's not going to work very well on mobile. It might do. I don't know how Unreal does with that now. Anyway, so where we're at right now is ta-da, ding! We optimize the texture sizes. We have one complete task. I should probably put like design the game as a task, and like we definitely designed the heck out of this game. Look at this epic design board, and it goes into all the extra details. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just a core loop, but main thing is it exists. For game design here, this is Fig Jam. For me, it's similar to Miro. I use Miro personally on my personal stuff. I like Miro because I can share it publicly and have people comment on it. Fig Jam is a little bit more like if you're working in a company and you've got like external shares, I guess. I don't know. It works with Figma. It's a UI UX company. I feel like if I'd have known Figma earlier, I wouldn't use Miro. So my advice would be to use Figma and Fig Jam. This is Fig Jam. I've got loads of stuff on this board. I've got like other boards where I've got like planning out like my quest log UI stream that I'm going to do, like planning out like the it's just a visual mind map, right? We got the division that we did one time. We did this in another stream. We did this in another stream. It's a nice real quick way to just like see all the stuff, right? So this is the kind of tool that I use. It's like a whiteboard, right? Digital whiteboard, and you can share it with people. So yeah, we did the design. So like tile art, I'm just going to put tile art. I want to get that done before I do the start tile and ghosts, because if we don't have tile art, we are not going to get very far. So down here in our content library, we've got these Isle of Lore text tiles. We actually have a demo map. Look at this border. It's a sprite. It makes me wonder if a sprite would be a good way to do this. This is a sprite here. Sprites have like collision geometry on them, which is cool. We're not going to need collision geometry for now. Sprites can also technically have depth. I'm wondering if a sprite is going to be cheaper to render 500 of them than straight up meshes. They're like Niagara, and I'm gonna say that my Niagara meshes are probably better, but Niagara only saves performance on more complex meshes that are drawn at a distance from the camera, because they use the pixel space to crush all the polygons down, and I don't have many polygons. I've got like, I'm basically going to have hexagons with some faces. Nanite's not going to do anything. It's not going to be able to subdivide that away. So just thinking like Nanite, we should use Nanite. It's like not going to make a real difference in this case, because it's not going to be able to crunch anything down. And if it did, it would basically turn my hexagon into like some awful monstrosity. Do share the links of the Fig Jam. I can't share this one right now, but I could in the future potentially, because this one's tied in with like all my work. But yeah, I'll think about in the future doing like a public one, and maybe like sharing this as a as an example. I'll do that after the game's released, I think, just for like posterity. So we've got this. We do have this border sprite here. It comes with this border medium. I want to take this. I want to put this in here. I want to what do I want to do here? Is this just black? It's pretty much just a color, yeah. So what we can do is maybe, oh, this is annoying. If this was white, it would be perfect. Maybe I can add in this direction. Nope. I basically got to turn this into an alpha, because right now this is not an alpha. If I was to duplicate this and go and play with the brightness and contrast curves, turn this white, and then use this. I guess ultimately it's just, at the end of the day, it's just the alpha, maybe. And so we're going to go, I mean, this is just a color, right? So let's just get that color. Just plug that in. And otherwise we'll use this. This can go into here. That didn't work very well at all. So why is that? This is not the same dimensions. Yeah, well, I also made a copy, but these are not the same dimensions as this. Neither are they the same orientation. So that's the first fun hurdle of this project is I've been given tiles in one orientation. Pointy border, flat border. Flat border, you say? Why am I not getting... Not getting what I want here. Yeah, look at that. I think I have a cat asking to escape. I do have a cat asking to escape. Okay, I'm back. So we have some art issues fairly quickly off the bat here. Let's see what we can do about that. So it's bloody annoying. Looks like a scaling issue mainly. If I go and look at the dimension, it's like, why would you give me dimensions that are different? 795 by 688, 840 by 840. They could have just been the same size. One minus if it is black. It's not quite black. It's like it's not quite black. It's grey. But the alpha is enough to use in this case. Yeah, how annoying is that? That is super annoying. Is there another option? Use a different one? I guess not. So we're just gonna have to. I don't really want to multiply these UVs and then have that particular like shader pass like happening, like instruction you call it, happening as part of this when I could just export this and fix it. So I'm just going to export this one thing here, border medium, go to Photoshop and open that up. And then I'm also going to open this, or any of these really. Asset actions, export this, and open that. And what I'm wondering is if I just put this in here, yeah. Let's ask GPT to confirm some of my biases. Is a texture of two? I think it ended up as 210 by 210, right? Yeah, 210 by 210, more or less optimized than a texture of 256 by 256 in Unreal Engine. I think the 210 will just take up the memory footprint of a 256. It's taking absolutely forever to write the most basic, like, yes, you're correct, make it 256. What I can't be doing is exporting all of these and then re-importing them at 256. But when I ship the game, I'm going to have to. Yeah, basically, like I expected, the Power 2 texture, the 256, it's native, so there's no extra padding on the memory size up to 256 from the 210. It's faster on loading in memory. It's better, cleaner for mip mapping. Well, these are this is what GPT says, so take this with a pinch of salt, but it sounds cool. Streaming efficiency is better. Compression is more optimal because it's Power 2. So in here, there is a power of 2 padding and resizing. So it says pad to square power of 2. So that pads it up. Stretch to power of 2. I'll probably do stretch to power of 2. So now it's 256, right? It's just going to be nicer. Resize to specific resolution. Yeah, well, we'll go to stretch to power of 2, I think. And I need to do that on all 2,600 images. At least I don't have to go to another engine to do this. So let's just do that quickly because it's going to be more optimized than if I don't do that. Asset actions, edit by property matrix. Hey, Saad. Will you join the Ryan Laley Jam? I certainly will. When is that? I will do anything for Ryan Laley. For context, as an Unreal developer, obviously I've seen his face a bunch, and I've learned some things from him over the years. Stuff I've probably talked on stream about because good teacher, right? And obviously consistency and just like doing it for years. I do the streaming now. I do the streaming now. I know that it's like it's hard work, right? Especially in the summer. It is horrible unless you have a house and air conditioning. I have a tower fan that's just aimed right at me because I'm a rent boy. I'm a rent boy. Don't clip that. I rent. So anyway, stretch to power 2. I need to do that on 2,600 textures right now. Ryan Laley, it's in August. That's very soon. Hey everyone, like the video. Yeah, like that guy said. I agree. I agree. We're gonna pad all of these to power 2 now. Stretch to power 2. Watch as my PC explodes. Ah, Hey, we're back. We're back. We're back. I think we're back. Save that. Even more optimized. Super optimized. Thank you. Right. So now I need to re-export one of those, basically. Just one of them. Just one. I've got a bunch of them in my memory here. So let's grab this one. Asset actions. Export. We have tile somewhere in here. Tile. Yes, replace it. Get rid of that. Open. This tile. Should be. Oh, I can close this one. Control-Alt-I. Oh, great. It's not. Well, let's just do it ourselves. There we go. The fact that I have to do this just upsets me so much that these were different scales. It just bothers me. Check back to our references to make sure that we're not supposed to be using a thinner line. I mean, these all look like pretty fat lines to me. Because if this process takes this long just to turn one border thickness to the next border thickness, I don't want to have to do it too many times. Export this as a PNG. We'll go to our game jams, working. We'll export it over the top of that. Let's go back to our assets. Let's go to Islebound, art, import our new border. Let's rename that T_border. We'll take that into our texture here, and that's looking good. We want to lerp this the other way around. Oh. Right. Oh, it's lerping based on the RGB. That's not good. There we go. Tile. One solitary tile set to fully rough. No specular, no metallic, fully rough. Sweet. Yeah, that's all good now, I think. I just need to go and edit this to be simple average. I mean, we're already good there. Let's just go sprite, paper 2D. There's only ever going to be one of these, which is awesome. Have it as nicely detailed as we want, although at 2D pixels unfiltered, this has become really disgusting. So I don't want to do that. Let's just put that back to whatever you were. Right now, in our viewport, I don't want a million instance dynamic materials. I'm going to have a lot of these tiles, right? I'll do the hardware specs in a minute, Red. August 11th to 18th. Yeah, I'll be back at work, actually. So aside from the usual, like, oh, I'm going to be off for a week, by the way, next week. Just FYI, everyone on stream. I'm not going to be streaming for a week. I'm going to have a little break. I'm going to have 3 days off. So when I'm back after that, that's actually good timing, because that'll be just the next game jam I come back to after a bit of a refresh. I've been streaming daily the 4 days that I work a week, like for the last like 2 months or a month and a half at least. So yeah, my brain needs a break. Yeah, when I get back, I'll do that jam. So for specs, I'm running a 9950X3D processor. I've got 64 gigs of RAM. I've got a 4080 RTX. I've got like MSI Thunder something motherboard, and I've got like the Shaw mic. I've got the Keo webcam. I say it's a webcam. It's like a soft DLSR cam. And I built it. Yeah, I built it, and it was painful. Me and my wife built it together. It was painful. It put me out of action for 2 days on my work. All right, cool. I need to turn my drum and bass down because it's actually distracting me. I need to concentrate. There might be portions of this stream where it's a little bit more ASMR in the sense that I might not talk as much, because if I keep talking, I'm not going to get anything done, as we've stared at this tile for ages now. Let's get into this. Let's get into like work mode, guys. Let's not talk so much. All right. No, I'm joking. Talk. Talking is great. Talk amongst yourselves. Ask me questions that I can answer in a short amount of time. Okay. So I've got this. I was saying that I don't necessarily want, if I can afford to, I don't want loads of instance dynamic materials based off this material in order to replace the interior for every tile that we put in the world, knowing that we're going to have about 500 tiles maximum at any one time on screen. And they could potentially be 500 completely unique tiles. There is a chance that that can happen. So I need to be prepared for, there could be 500 unique material instances with 500 unique texture references, all at 256. So the memory cost is going to be horrible. It's not too bad, actually. If you think about the 2048, 4096 textures that people run in like modern AAA games, like you can fit like 16 256 in one of those. Still, let me ask GPT here. I have potentially 500 unique material instance dynamic with unique texture references. 256 by 256 hex tiles. And in fact, I can show you guys this. It's at least interesting to look at. Super Google. Let's go Super Google. I have potentially 500 unique material instance dynamics with unique texture references to hex. What's the required memory in Unreal? And any other concerns? I mean, I have concerns. Is manageable. No, that's not too bad. I mean, I'm gonna ask you to at least have a giga. Actually, what? How much memory do modern phones have for gaming? I'm gonna say semi-modern. 16 gigs, 8 gigs, 16, 32, semi-modern. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we have gigabytes of memory on mobile today, so that's good. With compression, sure, but it's going to be uncompressed in order to draw it to the screen. Each mid is a lightweight wrapper, but 500 instances updated per frame can become expensive. You're changing parameters every 2 seconds. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that. What else did it say while it chews on that? Chew on this, ChatGPT. I'm not impressed. My assets are not going to tick. They're not going to affect distance field lighting or navigation. They're not going to affect distance field lighting. They're not going to cast shadows. Draw call explosion. Each unique material and texture combo is a new draw call, unless you batch them through, for example, a HISM, which I may very well do. And the easiest way to do that would be to pump data into a PCG. But then I'd have to regenerate it every time, which basically means you'll get like little blinks occur. So a better way would be for me to have my own HISM system for the tiles, and when I place a tile, I say like, go through the HISMs. Do I already draw this? Probably by key map. So my key will be my texture, and it'll be like, look, do a lookup and look for this texture. If you don't find it, make a new HISM that uses the hex and uses this texture as the mid, and then I only ever get one mid. I could potentially have 500 HISMs, but the likelihood is I won't, because I won't give the player that many options, right? Use this for debugging. That's interesting. Streaming will kick in depending on view distance texture streaming. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. I mean, at the moment, I'm like actually still really low on the memory, apparently. So we'll see. I don't update the material on tick. I am using static movement. Oh, I've already said that. It's regurgitating what I'm saying. Perfect. You're already avoiding this stuff. Cool. Disabling shadows. La, 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 la. You're doing well. You're doing well. Thanks, GPT. I kind of knew that after 10 years of doing this. Really, this is just a litmus check that I'm not missing anything, that it may, in its pattern like memory of information, be like, oh, by the way, don't do something. Okay, cool. I'm happy. I'm going to crack on now. I'm going to set up the final tile out here. So this is going to be a texture parameter. Just call this texture. We don't need to change this at the moment. This is just the color of our we can convert this to parameter if we want. Edge color, border color. So that's fine. Save all these up. Right. We've got this other material. Let's create a material instance here. In fact, let's just replace asset actions, replace references. Oh, it moved. So I don't want one of these. I just want to keep my one. Okay, so now this is what our map is looking like currently. So as long as there's no Z fighting. So what we are getting is this black around the edges. And I think that's because we're using a masked material. So you can just about see this occurring here. So two things to check. One is that they don't affect distance field lighting. This one. The other is that they don't cast, I guess, don't cast shadows. That's fine. And then over in our material, I think, what was the other one I was going to do? Turn it into be translucent. Which messed it up. All right, yeah. Mostly gone there, I would say. I think. If not, I'm going back to the other view. In fact, one of the things that I've done is I've leapt an alpha, and if we just look at this alpha multiplied by 1, if I just preview this node, which I can't do because it's a rubbish node to preview. Let's preview this node. See how this is just white here? Only in the inside. It means that at the edge where there's like feather, you get this feathering, right? Or this dithering, or whatever you want to call it, this artifacting, this aliasing. I'm saying that that particular white part is this color via this lerp. And so what would actually be better accuracy would be to grab all of this, select the inverse, and just color it in. In fact, we'll create a new material, we'll color that in. And so now we no longer get that issue where when we're coloring this in, you can see how we're coloring half white pixels, half black pixels. And that's what ends up giving you these issues that you can possibly see just sort of like creeping black border edges that are occurring because of what I just explained. So we do this instead, and I'm actually just going to color this color overlay. Don't want contour, just color overlay. Don't want emboss. I'm gonna color this in white because I can color a white texture however I want in Unreal. So most of the textures that I bring into Unreal are gonna be white, like full stop. They're gonna be white usually, unless they're like these kind of artworks. So I resave this over my border. Sure, I'm not precious on that border, and re-import this. And so now we have like a nice thick border. We still have our alpha. However, we actually don't really need this alpha so much. Although I suppose it's okay. Let's just stop previewing here. So now what we have is this nice wide border, but we don't have we no longer have the alpha. I didn't think about that. What we can do is duplicate this layer, rasterize it, Control A, Control C, grab both of these, Control E, give it a mask, come in here, put the mask in, Control I, come back. I did it the wrong way around. Control I. What have I just done? Essentially just make the whole, no. What's the best way to do this? Have fun, time to turn in. Yeah, catch you next time, Potato. Watch the rest to see how it all worked out. Yeah, awesome. Hopefully by this evening we'll actually get past the tile setup. Different way of doing this. Different way of doing this. I'll actually export this. Because I do need that outside edge. I add these two together to get, if I re-import this, boop, we get the alpha here, but we're coloring it based on the not pre-added version. So what if I do this? No. I want to do everything outside of this. That might fix it. Just a different order of the math, although I think I've messed up the border now. It doesn't have like a soft interior. Yeah. However, the artifact is gone now. Because instead of coloring a thin band, we're just saying that is the color. Put this other thing on top. And so, yeah, I want to... Oh gosh, what do I want to do here? Possibly 1 minus this at... Nope. You can see that the thickness of the actual border is this thick. What I could try and do is this minus this alpha, and then just this. I need decent masks, that's what I need. I need to curate this. I could like channel pack inside here to get a couple of masks that I want, is one thing I could do. What I really want is to have this and this combined. So I now have essentially the interior mask, which is what this sort of becomes. A black and white. I actually color black. So 0 and 1. This is, I mean, I could actually flip this. This is my inside, that's my outside. And then I've got also my border. So yeah, we get that bloody edge again. I don't want to layer them on top of each other. I need to do it in the material. I don't want to have two. One other solution is to have two planes, one above the other. I don't want to do that either. If I create a new black here. I love that film. What I've done there is just like added white to this, which has basically crept the white into these edges a little bit more. And so then now we have two masks essentially. Let's go Control Shift N. Let's get a new texture here. And then what we can do is grab this one, come up here to channels and just say in the red, I want this. Which before we do that, we'll do this, and then we'll do that. Okay, so we have our first channel. Then we grab this, Control A, Control C, close that, come back up, go to channels, go to the green channel, paste that in. Now we have this, which is wildly offset. Why is that so offset? Oh, wonderful. Our why is that so offset? It's crazy. Green channel, I think. I'm pretty sure it's this green channel. It's never going to be perfect, so this is not a great solution. Yeah, one thing someone once told me was just like, identify the problem, then craft the solution. The problem that I'm solving is I want to have this color be the color. I then technically want to just add this on top, but I can't do that because it will make all of these greens darker, right? If I look at these greens and then plug this add in, they all get darker, or do they not? I'm pretty sure they do. If they do, I'm not seeing it. But because this texture is controlled in a way where if we take the alpha off, it's actually just a picture with loads of other stuff, and then it's like we stick the alpha on top, that cuts out the center. And then if we actually look at that in an asset like here, we have the inside, we have the outside, but the outside actually clips, as far as I know, the outside actually clips over by a decent amount in various directions, which might actually present a problem. Might need to be moved. Um, let's just try and re-export that now. I think that may or may not have been an issue. I just assumed it was in the right place. So what I've done what I've done now, instead of using a lerp, which is a little bit nicer. Okay. Done something. Let's just see if it's actually working, and then I'll explain. Yes, sweet. It's looking good. It's looking how I want. Nice. Okay, so what I've done is I've updated this so it's in the right place, firstly, but because this just has an alpha that's a black and white and it has a ring, if I add that together with the alpha of this texture, which is the interior, I essentially get an alpha that is the outside, right? Because I've got all this black on the outside here, and I've got this inverted. So I thicken that black outline by the size of this line, which means that if I multiply this, sorry, this is already multiplied. If I multiply this color now by this 0 to 1, I just get the interior, or at least that's what I'm hoping here. If I add these together, I'm just going to stick my finger on the screen because that's cool. Yeah. So you can see what's easier to see here is probably this. This is the border, and then if I stop previewing that, that's where this effect is shown. So we have our base material set up. I can change the thickness of that border later, maybe, if I want. Let's change this to m underscore tile, and this to mi tile underscores. What is this? It's like pine forest 1. I'll just call it mi underscore tile. We're only really going to have one of these by default. Put this in our artwork folder. Cool. I can close this. I can close this. I can save here. Okay, so next off, I need to. So that's tile art. Ding! We did one. We did one thing for the game jam. Next up, starting tile ghosts. Okay. Yeah, great. Now I've got. Now I've got to go figure that out. Let's go here. Duplicate this. Grab it. Color overlay white. That's fine. File. Export selected. T underscore. Actually, we can actually. Oh, that's a ghost for an aisle. We don't want that. We want a tile ghost here. That's our actual tile ghost. Need to change this. Right. And then import this tile ghost. T underscore tile ghost. Okay. Ironically, these are just. If this was channel packed, it would make so much more sense. Why am I not channel packing these? I can't in good conscience have an RGBA and leave it like this. I can't in good conscience do that. So today we're learning just patience and perseverance. We're going to channel pack this because that looks horrible. So Control Shift N G. It's like if I was in a team and I saw that, I'd be like, oh man, there's an optimization. You could just channel pack those. We're going to rasterize this layer here. We're going to copy it, hide it. That's going to be our R channel. Oh, come on. Now I'm stuck. I'm stuck in some kind of channel. I don't know why it keeps... The computer's bleeping at me a bunch. Texture samplers are expensive. I have one of them. I have one texture sampler in the game. But yeah, when I start having actually I have two, sorry, yeah, because of the channel packer. But yeah, if I wasn't to do this, then I would end up having more. Yeah, you're right. Well, it's more like I'd have more textures. It's not a big deal. In this case, it's not a big deal because it's just another texture, but it bothers me, and I'm gonna do this useless, meaningless, small change that doesn't move the dial on our game, because I am. Oh my god, what is with my editor right now? It just keeps blinking at me like no, no, no. It's like like everything, every action I do is another It's just hating. It's hating me. Right, cool. That's the tile. That's the border. Um, so the last one that I want is the composite of those two, which I don't technically need because I just add them together and I get that output. So for now, that's our channel pack texture. Yeah, da-da-dung, da-da-dung, da-da-dung. File export as PNG, and we'll just call this like T underscore channel pack tile. Da-da-dung, da-da-dung. Just kept blinking at me. That was bloody annoying. Let's re-import with a new file for this one, and we'll just re-import the channel pack texture and delete this tile ghost. Create a new m underscore tile ghost. This one here, what we want to do is use the G channel. In fact, we could do G. We could possibly add these together now and actually do some better logic. Sure. We'll go with that. We got this like mask texture and we got our textures. Even though these have alphas. I could get rid of the alpha on all of these and actually optimize these again. Like all of these tiles, I may as well do that. Like it's going to make the game even cheaper. Like these don't need to have alpha in them. Set actions, edit via property matrix. Like because my masks are now in like one single texture, rather than having 2,600 RGBAs, I have 2,600 RGBs and I have 1A. I've just got rid of 2,600 channels of memory, right, or compression or whatever. So let's do that. Is that possible in here? Can I do that? Compress without alpha. Yeah. Let's try that. Well, I've already told it to not. If enabled, the texture's alpha channel will be forced to opaque for compressed texture output. Does not apply if the output format is uncompressed RGBA. This is what I want here, RGB8 sRGB. But that's going to make it grayscale. But I want RGB8. That's what I want. This is a bad idea. I just clicked that button. I should have done it on one thing, and then I do it on like 1,000 others. Yeah, that was an accident. Let's just put it back to this. Okay. So I'm gonna get the formula. I'm gonna get some music. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. Sorry, I lied. I'm not gonna get any music. I'm gonna get adverts. I really need YouTube Premium. Okay, so Game Jam time. Cracking on with the Game Jam. It's time for a Games Jam. Let's do the bloody Game Jam. Yeah, it's looking good. Okay. Okay. One of the first things that I need is to get ChatGPT to give me the formula for the hex grid. So I'm creating a tile grid from a central 000 origin hex tile. Let's go back to my reference. I'm here. It's point at the top. But I think in our game, we're actually doing it horizontally. Yeah. So that is what it is. That's just what we're doing because all of our textures are this orientation. So looks like we're doing it that way. Hex tile, flat top, flat top, and bottom. I need a simple formula slash snap to nearest grid XY logic in Unreal Engine for new tiles when dragged into the world, i.e. in mouse position, out, snapped position. For a flat-topped hex grid 000, here's a basic formula for you. It's Q and R, hex radius is 100F. We'll find out what that actually is. And then you do all this math square root hex radius 0.75. So there is some sort of logic to it. And we'll have some variables that we'll use as well. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. So we're going to start getting our core set up. So let's go. Let's actually make the game. Okay, core. Blueprint class. Game mode. GM underscore, what do we call it? Like oil bound or something? So we got that. We're going to need... It's going to start getting fast now because I'm back into blueprint mode, which is something I'm a little bit faster at, right? So player controller, blueprints. No blueprints, just oil bound here, core. BP PC oil bound. Save that. I don't really need to do anything with it right yet, but I may very well do in the future. HUD, we're definitely going to have a HUD. BP HUD Islebound. Cool, Islebound here, save that. Okay, default pawn here, default pawn class. No pawn. No pawn in this game. Because of legal reasons. BP PC Islebound. I'll get banned on Steam. Okay, cool. That's the game mode. Let's put that in the window world settings. Let's put that in here. GM Islebound. Cool. Hit play. Nothing happens. Awesome. Perfect. We might need a pawn because we we may need one pawn because Grayscale is an uncompressed format. It's better to use DXT. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Oh, Nadir Whitelaw. I recognize that name. I didn't even read the name the first time that you said something. I was just like, oh yeah, Nadir. Hope you're doing well, mate. Texture samplers are expensive, yeah. Luckily, hopefully only these two. For pretty much most of the project, except for the structures and some of the UI art. That'll basically be it. Okay, we can get rid of that. What was I saying? I may need one pawn because I need a camera. I could always put the camera in the sky. We are going to be able to move the pawn. He might have some smooth move. Let's do a pawn. BP underscore pawn underscore Islebound. We're using pawn instead of character because we're not going to have a first person or third person like moving around a world kind of deal. We're not going to need a capsule. We are literally just going to use a nice spring arm for movement, a nice camera. It's not going to have anything to do with like control rotation on any of this. This is just a straight up top down camera that's going to look at our world with a little bit of lag. So we'll put a little bit of lag on there. Still killing it, yeah. I mean, I'm not rich yet, man. I've been trying. I haven't tried hard enough, to be honest. I haven't tried hard enough. Okay, so we don't really need our test lights. We knew what we were talking about there. Let's do that. There's no way to know that we're facing top down, which is quite funny. Let's just put another plane back in and just make sure that this is doing what we expect. Art, that's tile ghost. Put our tile down there. We're not possessing our pawn. And that may be because we never set it in our game mode. What have you been up to? I saw you were doing some like advertising stuff or like big stage stuff in some other interesting part of the world. We didn't set our pawn, so let's do that. Pawn Islebound, there we go. We may very well be at 0, but this isn't. 0. Make sure that this pawn spring arm here is not doing a collision test, because that would make it look silly. It's really far away, but yes, that is doing what we want to some degree. Let's get a start. Put that at 0. There we go. Interesting. There we go. That's our first tile. Before we get too far into that part, let's go back to our art, create another new material, m_tile_bg. Save that. Let's make a big old plane. Stick that on there. And I'll color it over on my other screen here. Let's go 3. I want sort of a light gray. This can probably be unlit. Yeah, man, do some game jams. Do it. Do it. Oh, it's 10 cents for 5 years, yeah. Nice. Oh, the Isle of Man. I bet that's nice. Why is this camera like rotating? Yeah, emissive, bloom, not a great feel. Opaque. Oh, a little bit grayer. A little bit grayer. That'll do. I'll polish it up later. I just don't want it to be black right now. It's also sideways. Seeing all the aliasing on everything right now, which is bothering me. What I might do is get a HLSL to make that border so that I can give it a soft edge. Because it's not working. Yeah. I could just soften the edge for now. I could potentially go and try and soften the edge in here if it wasn't just constantly telling me that I'm not allowed to press anything. Every time I go back into Photoshop, I was like, no, 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 don't. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm done. I'm closing it all down. Can't do that anymore. It's driving me insane. Grey texture, yeah, I don't care. This was just a test. I'm best to pull this over here just in case. It's just like test cabbage. The IO test card. I don't know, I'm starting to sweat in this room. You didn't need to know that, but you're now with me on the journey of pain. Okay. I now closed Photoshop. Next time I open it, hopefully it doesn't just ding at me every single time. So one thing that I've been doing lately, and we'll hope that it works out this time because it would be really nice. I need a UE5 HLSL shader where the inputs are implicitly supplied via the node and should only be shown as comments -- in the top of the HLSL block, because it does that every single time. I need a HLSL shader, blah blah blah, The shader allows me to curate an SDF hexagon flat top bottom with static bool for rotated version. Configs for the curve on the outside. Okay, so the shader allows me to create an SDF hexagon ring, I guess, with flat top and bottom with a static bool for rotated version. Configs for the curve on the outside edge of each corner, i.e. radius. Thickness, interior radius, which controls the sharpness of the interior curves at the corners. Corners of each hex edge. Also need R channel is the interior, G channel is the exterior, RGB channel is the ring in white. Boop. This has worked for me several times in the past. It does sometimes provide me with almost exactly what I want, and if I need to control the UVs slightly, that'll be fine. You know what I didn't ask for? The whole main reason I actually did this. Stop, edit, and I need a softness variable for the outside edge to fade to outside edge to control gradient fade, because my current hex is aliased, so it understands what the reason is, and maybe that gives it some context window. And an interior softness for the same reason. By default, I want it to be hard on the inside, soft on the outside, which is, if you've seen Archer, then you know what to say. You could use a hex SDF node. I think there. Oh right. Hex. It might be in the material lab. Yeah, definitely makes sense. And then I've got to like scale it by center and do a bunch of math. But the HLSL usually does me a solid, and it will have an error the first 2 times I attempt to get a result. Custom HLSL, please. Let's take all of these variables and turn them into something. 1 UV radius, thickness, corner radius out, corner radius in, edge softness out, edge softness in, be rotated. Thickness, radius, more radius, softness. Ooh. All right, let's get all of this plugged in. I'm going to spend too much time naming these for now because I just want to see if it works. mean, this could be a bool parameter actually, but whatever. Let's just put this into our base color with 1 in the opacity and see. Missing UVs. Yes. Bad type static bool for custom input. What? I'm going to check what the default variables it gave me are. Usually it gives me default variables. Yeah, here we go. So I'm just going to plug those in quickly. Giving me a new variable called pointy top, which is hilarious. Okay, and then I get to just print screen this and paste it directly in, and it will go, oh yeah, you're not allowed to do that. And then it'll give me another fix, and then we should be on our way. Why is my Discord not working? Man. Looking pretty dope. God, what was going on there? It's pretty cool, but I can't say it looks correct. Let's just break the R channel out here. G channel. B channel. Why is that happening? Let's compile this quickly, and then I'll go check out MI tile on a flat plane. And I'll just play with all these variables quickly to see if this is like what the edge cases are here. It's really done something weird there. Yeah, that sucks. Well, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I'll play with it later. Yeah, that just didn't work. That's a shame. We've got this, but we have a hard edge. So a different way to solve this is in Photoshop, we just add an outer glow to the original opacity of the ring, and then we just re-export that. So I'm just going to go do that. So in the channels, we have our ring here. If I just copy that, paste that into a new layer, like so. If I then I can't outer glow it, because it will clip outside the bounds. So I need to inner glow it basically. Okay. What I could do is make that interior white there. Apply the layer mask. Control Shift N, go to black. Deposit these together, I think. Or is that not right? No, that's fine. Now inner glow, not very large, and you can see we're starting to get something. Just going to keep that there for a second. Obviously, we've got some artifacts. So this is what this glow is what I was trying to do in the engine just now, just to get rid of the hard edges. But what we could do is actually stick it on our 3D tile, which is one thing that we said we're going to do from the beginning. And if I do that, it will mask the hard edges anyway, because it will be like it's a kilo thing. Let's just yeah, you're broken. I'm really not very well today. Okay, so a couple of things didn't work. Let's move on. Let's go make modeling mode. Let's make a cylinder with less sides. That many sides. And its height just being like 50 for now. Should be good. We'll do 100. I don't think we're ever going to have it be more than a certain amount, but I guess if we do, it won't be the end of the world. We can figure it out. In terms of texturing this, it should just be the case I could put this on. I'll actually change it to opaque. It's going to be cheaper to render as well. Is it not? Why is it black outside there? So weird. Oh, it's because I'm using the ring. Arg. I was right the first time. There we go. Okay, so now we just UV map this. Project. There we go. Get a nice top-down projection. I want to scale that. The idea of having actual tiles means that we can have a slightly angled view. And if I use this and then raise it again, we'll end up with like a world map that has like some height variation as we move around it. It's just a little thing that I wanted to do, but what I can do now, hopefully, as well, this is annoying. This is annoying. I think it's not quite a cube. It's just shy of a cube. Meaning like it's not quite 1 meter in main diameter. Oh no, it's a meter wide, which is what we expect here. Okay. Okay, so we're moving forward. We're moving forward. I promise we're moving forward. We're getting a whole bunch of art prep out of the way. I needed that. I needed that, so I'm going to move that. That's going to be my SM_hex. Cool. We can put that down in the world. We can drop our material onto it. We have a cool hex. I'll get the hex logic shortly for positioning these. But for now, if I move this just to touch that, let's say they were touching perfectly. I'm going to duplicate this one into hex hard edge and then go into our model mode, or is it our mesh mode? Triangle edit. I'll take these. I'll want to bevel this. So, oh, actually, I want to bevel the edges technically. So there's an inset function. So I can do that and then bring this up and reproject the UVs. The idea is we now get just when there's a lot of these, you end up getting these nice shapes between every tile, like it's an actual tabletop board game piece, because you've got these little shadows jutting through the artwork. Which when we've also got like varying height, just adds, it just makes it a little bit less hard edged, right? We've got a nice little chamfer on there. Ideally what I wanted was that this is actually also green, but we're not going to worry about that too much. But yeah, the Unreal modeling tools are pretty cool. They can get you what feels like kind of a board game piece, I suppose. So when I'm moving these around soon, it will be pretty cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, keep an eye on the jam. Next couple of days, it will be done Sunday. And I'll see you in another one, mate. Nadir's an old university friend. Old Magic the Gathering player. Nerd. Anyway, I love Magic the Gathering. It just costs too much money. I remember, oh man, if you're still there, there was this one time he did a Russian pull, and he was like, I'm going to do this Russian draw pull thing, whatever it's called. So he got this card pack, and I was like, what's a Russian pull? And he's like, oh, you open it, you pull the rearmost card out, which is always the rarest one. You tear it in half, and then look at what it is. And then you pull the next one, and it's like that's the one that was your rarest. And he like pulled the rarest one in the set and ripped it in half, and didn't turned out where it was just like. But that's the whole idea of the game. It just happened to be the case that that day, fate so had it that as Nadir was evidencing to me what a Russian Magic the Gathering pack opening, he's explaining what that is to me. He achieves the best potential Russian pull that you could pull, so he technically won. He got the best. He got the best of a worst thing. Well, the sampler instructions are actually already high on this material, and it's literally like an opaque material now. Whatever. The good thing is we have our tile. We're going to stick our material on the tile by default. So yeah, look at that. Look at that. We got a nice little tile going there. I would like to color this later on in the right color, but we'll. So the next thing I want to do is get our tiles actually placed. So let's get a blueprint in here. I think I should probably change the color of the ground again. Let's create a material instance for that. And just bring this color down. I'll do. Right. Blueprints. How do I want to do any of this? I do not have any particular preferences right now. I have nothing in mind. I haven't had a break while I tried to figure out all the artwork preferences that I have. As a game that is predicated on looking really nice, I wanted to make sure that the start portion of the artwork is okay. And then we'll have these little 3D tiles almost in our hands, which will be also pretty cool. Right. So just starting at the very base part here, we're just going to get this tile in. First tile. Kind of need to define a tile, technically. I need... What do I need? We spoke about optimization earlier in terms of having a hierarchical instance static mesh manager. I don't need that for the first blueprint technically. So let's just go actor, BP underscore, I'll call it a town. In the middle of the town is a hex, which we'll have to grab. We'll do the smoothed hex. Make sure it's not ticking. Let's make sure this doesn't cast shadows, and it doesn't affect. We'll leave distance field lighting on because that might actually make it look quite nice. Now, if I put that blueprint down at 0, hit play, it's facing the right direction, which is good. our um, our player controller needs set show mouse cursor to true, because otherwise we don't have a mouse. That's cool. If I go back to the level here and hit play, yeah, my mouse stays on screen now, which is what I want. We have our main blueprint, which is cool. In the construction script, I'm going to try out some quick logic here. For the hexagon positions, which I asked it about earlier. So if we forgot, we had this round to nearest axial coordinate, and we had some other logics up here. Define your hex size, hex radius 100, F distance from the center to the flat edge. I think that's actually 80. Hex width, derived parameters. Hex height. Snap world XY to hex axial. Okay. Return to the snap to hex grid, or snap to axial position logic. I need a pure function where I plug in the XY positions and return in axial position. I need variables for the hex XY, X and Y, XY size. Vector 2D is fine, i.e. mine is 100 units wide, point to point, whatever. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to leave it with that. That'll get us restarted on the logic there. I'm going to need pretty much a blueprint function library for that, because we're going to use that function a lot. So BPFL, and we'll just call this aisle-bound. This is going to be a get axial position. I think it called it axial position. It's like a flat top hex grid position. So that's cool. Output, I'm going to use, so just out position, and then we'll have an in position as well. In position. Obviously, I don't really need to snap the Z. Whatever the Z was is what the Z is going to be on the way back out. In position. Put the Z back in. And then we're going to logic the rest of it, right? I don't need a net quantized vector. That is not something that I need. So that net quantized vector, I think it just gets rid of all the zeros. I don't know. Maybe it does some of the logic, but basically it makes it more optimized for network traffic when you're doing multiplayer games. We're down to 3 people on the stream. For those of you who are still here, congratulations. You are in the group who are going to get the secret trophy, which is to see me make a game. Theory recap. Q, R. I don't know what Q and R are. Blueprint compatible HLSL function. No, thank you. Just going to fix it. Just going to fix that. Why is this wind not doing anything for me? Okay, position, vector 2D, world or local 2D position. Hex size of the hex tile from point to point, width, height. Works. Use the vector 2D for that. Output. Okay. So if we take this divided by 2, promote this to a local variable called axial L, axial coord, or pos, I suppose you would say, pos. Let's take this at the end, split it, and plug that in. Cool. So that's our return. In fact, a really nice way that we can do this is just move this over, do a sequence, and now we can just do whatever math we want without having to move this return around, like just keep moving it to the right every single time. That's not necessary. And then you can get these variables as well. Hex size. Okay. I'm really far behind now. I hate art sometimes. I hate art. It's the thing that takes the longest. Okay, so that's just radius. Q is equal to 2 divided by... Okay, sure. This is just such weird logic. We're just going to do it, though. Just says, so float 2 divided by 3 multiplied by... position. Get position. Rate, split. X divided by the radius. Literally this is Q. Okay. And then R is -1 divided by 3 multiplied by position X plus, I don't ever remember writing this for previous hex grid stuff, square root of 3 divided by 3 multiplied by the Y position. Plugged into... Wait, what? Yeah, it's plus this. One doesn't even take radius into account. Okay. And R equals R divided by radius. What? Why would you change radius now? So R is... Look at this. R is equal to this. Oh, and then also R equals whatever it was divided by the radius. Cube coordinates. Mountain nearest cube coordinates. Okay, just... I had a code smell. There was a code smell. I didn't like it. It is the same logic. Promote to local variable. And we're just going to say Q And then I'll promote this to a local variable R. Sure. Okay, so apparently it cannot do math nodes. I really need to use like Cloud or something. Claude. Okay, I'm just gonna have to figure this out myself. So here we're gonna have RQ, RR, and RS. And we're gonna have to set all of these up. So RQ, rounded R. So that's RR, R, ER, RS, round S. We never made S. What is S? Oh, I missed a bit. There is also S, which is negative Q minus R. What the hell? What is this weird math? I mean, if it works, it works. But it seems really weird. I just checked on a different. Yeah, I just checked on a different code generator, and yeah, it's the same, like really complex math. Um, but I guess it will be perfect. All right. So carrying on here, we've got DQ. Yep, just got more letters. I'm guessing we're going to have DQ, DR, and DS. Yeah, cool. DQ, DR, DS. Which is just the absolute of RQ minus Q. Oh, math. DQ, RQ minus Q. Cool. DR is RR minus R? Yeah. then rs minus s, I imagine. Rs minus s. This is the wildest journey of code I've ever had to write. Okay, here we go. We're going to do another section of crazy ass code. I mean, I've had to do this before, I suppose, in a lot of widget logic for like timeline animators, using list views and tons of code in those. But just back, what are you working on? Hey, Red. I'm working on thinking about having a break. To be honest, I've been working on just the art. To be honest, this is the culmination of the last 2.5 hours of streaming. No, there's been more than that, but really, yeah. To be honest, this material and this little hexagon took me 2.5 hours because there was just a bunch of thinking, a bunch of checking out how the materials are given to me, the textures. We optimized a bunch of stuff for the texture sizes, texture memory, reducing the alpha channels and all the textures. Just because I'm going to be drawing a lot of these hexagons, I need to know that this is ready to take on the challenge. And so it was kind of a bit of a slow stream for the last 2.5 hours. Me not really doing much, sort of just going in circles. Had a few cool people drop by, people from my past, sort of like work and college stuff. So that was cool. It's an awesome single tile. It is an awesome single tile, and it's gonna get even better. It's gonna get better, and it's also in 3D, so we can do stuff like this with the world, right? Where like you look across it and it's like an ocean. Although I may never get to that, but we'll see. Right now, I'm creating a snap to hex grid function, which is just all this tons of logic, and I've got GPT on my side teaching me the way with its superior to me math knowledge. I now have to convert QR into the snapped world position. So we have our I'm going to call this L snapped pause. L snapped pause. And we'll split this. And we'll call this hex radius, which is, I believe, this. Hex width divided by 2. It's that multiplied by, again, it's 3 divided by, multiplied by 3 divided by 2. Which order do you do all this in? I think this is possibly going to work. That's how snapped X. Okay, that's how snapped X. We've got a snapped Y here. It's hex radius again. This time multiplied by the square root of 3. And then multiplied again by RR plus RQ divided by 2. Just, I hope you like the sound of my voice because none of that makes sense to me. All right, well, now there's only one way to test it. And that is to say, for example, on tick, get mouse position, or, get, yeah, sure, whatever, get mouse position on viewport, project it, deproject screen to world, get owning player. We'll just player controller 0 is fine. It's not going to be a multiplayer game. What am I doing here? There's some tick of the wrong thing. Let's go to our blueprints, BP town, take this here on tick, get the player's mouse position, snap to hex grid. So we'll break this, or we'll make a vector, which is, I guess, the XY here. And the Z is just get actor location Z. And the hex size is like, we're going to have to figure it out. Actually, don't know. Like, it's exactly 100, and I think it's by 88. I think it's 100 by 88. But we'll find out pretty soon. Or we won't, and all the math is completely off. So we'll move the actor location to the target location, which is this, over delta time, so delta seconds, and we'll use just like 4 as the lerp speed. I turned tick off on this town, so that's hilarious. It ain't moving, I'll tell you that much for free. What are you pain in the butt? Is BPFL just for blueprint file? No, blueprint function library. So if you're not aware of that convention, I'll presume you're not aware of one of the cool things in this blueprint. So options. It's also something that you can create in code. You can create a function library or static functions that can be called anywhere. They're useful for helpers. You can create a blueprint function library. You can see in the comment here, it just says a library of blueprint nodes that you can call from any other blueprint or any other level blueprint as well. It can't contain permanent variables. It's sort of summoned as a method and then it goes away again. So unlike a blueprint actor that maintains state, it's like performing the act of just holding function. And so you can run it from anywhere. It just makes it easier to get that function, right? So when you've got things like you may have heard of the term like singleton. If you've got one of them, like a game state, you might have that be like static, or otherwise, in a blueprint function library where you go and get it from there. Maybe you've got a component on your game state that you're constantly getting access to, and you don't want to have all these nodes in all your blueprints, so you might have a blueprint macro library, for example. So there's 2 different types of libraries. You can have functions or macros, and functions can be pure or not. They can have returns, they can do things inside their function, or they can just return stuff, right? So blueprint function library, super cool. Can use it you can use it anywhere. So I'm in here right now. I can do snap to hex now. To hex. So I can do it here. I can do it here. I can do it here. I can do it in any class I want to do that in. One thing that I'll say that you should be aware of is if I use that function in this class, right? So I've got it here. The target is BPFL islebound, right? So that function library is now pointed to by this class, this BP town. If in a big project you have tons of functions in here, and in some of those functions you have like cast to the BP HUD for islebound, and in another one you have like cast to game mode islebound, and in another one you have like cast to some, I don't know, town. We got a custom town asset. And some of these have artwork in, some of them have sounds, some of them have particle systems. When you come back out into this islebound asset and you look at this reference viewer, it knows of town, it knows of HUD, it knows of game mode, it knows of some other classes that you've got in this massive function library, right? Because you're casting inside of it. And what that does is, depending on how much artwork is in them, if we look at the size map, you can see it's 674 kilobytes right now because all my town has in it is a hexagon. But what if it had sounds? What if it had particle systems? What if it had animation? you can see how, depending on how things go, this size map of this blueprint function library becomes very large. And because it's used in a class, for example, in this BP town now, if I open up this BP town size map, it it will have a daisy chained reference to the game mode, even though this guy doesn't care about the game mode at all. Like in this class, he doesn't care about game mode. He has no context of game mode. He's not including game mode, but by virtue of including this blueprint function library, which does include the game mode because we cast to it in there, we now have the game mode, we have the HUD, we have the player controller, we have the pawn. In a much bigger game, you end up with references to everything, size mapped, which means that when I load this asset, I may need to load all those other assets as well as a dependency, in order to understand their functions, to understand what they might do. And so I think what the engine does is it treats it as if it may be actually visually loaded and seen in the scene. So it loads all the artwork, just in case you reference those pointers, right? You might reference the pointer of the certain class's sound, and it's like, well, we need to make sure you have the sound loaded, because if you want to get the reference to that, it needs to return something. So it loads literally everything. What's the app with the slick sticky notes to the list on the left? It's literally Microsoft To Do. It's literally Microsoft To Do. Yeah, I looked around and I used Microsoft To Do. Someone asked me the same question recently because they're a teacher, and they were like, "What's that really cool post, like that list that you've got there that's really useful for tracking?" I was like, "It's just To Do, To Do, Microsoft To Do." And I have a lot to do. I have a lot to do. This doesn't seem to be doing anything, which I'm pissed about. I'm so pissed about that. What I could at least do is print what this is returning. So we're actually not. Oh, I see what's going on here. I see what's going on here. What we need to do is take this. We need to get position from plane, or location from plane, or intersection from plane. Line plane intersection. The line start position is this world position, and the line end position is this direction multiplied by a float that is like 50,000 or just whatever. It doesn't matter. It's math. It's not actually a line trace. It's just math. So what's the intersection point along this line? And that's actually what we use as the position here. And then when we make a plane from a point and a normal, we just use the actor's location and the up vector. And now we have a plane. And so what you can imagine this is doing is it's shooting a line just mathematically through a plane in a math sense. And it's going to give us back the distance it took to hit and the intersection point, which is where we actually want to snap from here. So we're not getting perfect. The left and right is doing quite a lot of work, but the up and down is not. It does feel like that is half of what I want it to be doing. The XY is inverted. Like, a couple of things are wrong. I'm going to have to go and check the ridiculous amount of math that I had to write just to double check that I wrote the formulas correctly. So, you know, back to high school for me. It's like back to school. Yeah, no worries for the explanation, guys. Like, that's knowledge. It's knowledge, and I'm sharing that knowledge. Some people make you pay for that knowledge. I could have done teaching, but I'm teaching. I am teaching, just doing it for free. um, And also it's completely unplanned, so that's like the flip side. You get the cool nuggets of information, but you also get me just rambling on and making game jams very slowly. So occasionally there's some real good moments in there. I'm having a real bad time right now because I was expecting that the hex grid logic would be really simple to do. Turns out I was wrong. I'm just going to describe to it what I have written. Q. That's Q. Now I'm doing R. R is equal to well, this is just like real slow, demoralizing right now. dr equals the absolute of r minus r. uh, ds equals the absolute of, I guess, rs minus s, rs minus s. And all the way back down here. Okay. Okay, fine. Nothing wrong with promoting this to a variable. L radius. Sure. Means I don't need to calculate it 6 times. L radius. It's here. Does it go? It goes right here. It's over there. Yeah, sure. It's asked me to do that. I will do that. Happily. Q equals 2 divided by 3 multiplied by in pos.x divided by radius. Cool. R equals minus 1 divided by 3 multiplied by in pos.x plus, maybe this is where it went wrong, plus the square root of 3 divided by 3 multiplied by the way? What? Okay, well, that was a good clarification because my logic would not have worked if I did not ask it that question. So there we go. Oh, it's just like eating eggshells right now. Okay, and S equals the negative of Q minus R, which is what we're doing. Then we're rounding them all, then we're absoluting them all, then if dqdr and dqds, okay, if dqdr and dqds, then RQ equals negative RR minus RS, Yeah, and otherwise, if dr is more than ds, rr equals minus rq minus rs. It had the rounding order reversed in the condition fix. You must calculate rq, rr, and rs first, then adjust rq, rr, depending on which difference was. Pardon what? Why have I got it wrong? You had the rounding order reversed in the if dq is more than dr and dq is more than ds, then rq equals rr multiplied by -1 minus rs. Otherwise, if dr is more than ds, then rr equals rq multiplied by -1 minus rs. So why is it telling me that's the wrong way around? It's literally the same code. If that's wrong, that's also messed up. Okay, so then it's saying radius multiplied by 3 divided by 2 multiplied by rq. I need to ask it to split all this up, I think. Your formula for snap wire is mostly correct, but parentheses need tightening. What? Yeah, that's fine. That's exactly what I've got written. Multiply, multiply, multiply. Okay, back to Bidmus. Brackets, then indices, then divisions, then multiplication. Yeah, okay. What? Yeah, so multiplication at the end. So the division is going to happen first, 3 divided by 2. And then we're going to do the radius multiplied by that, then multiply. Okay, so it told me, check this out, I love this. I, when I say I love this, I absolutely mean I hate everything about this. How far up this list has it gone? Here it says, summary of things that you need to fix. Q multiplied by -1 minus R. It's the wrong order. Minus Q minus R. I'm like, okay, well, multiplication is going to happen before the subtraction, so we're multiplying Q by -1, which makes negative Q, and then we're negative R. And then later on it goes like, oh yeah, you're absolutely correct. This is identical. Yeah, thanks. I do a lot of this math rubbish. I mean, multiplying by -1 isn't exactly crazy, but like I tend to do it a lot. Yeah, divided by 2, 3 by r cube, which is what I'm doing. Okay, well, apparently that was it. So now I get to tell it. When I move my mouse X left and right, the target moves snapped to a hex grid left and right, but also moves upwards. Right. Okay. It's possible that these are the wrong way around. They're not the wrong way around. Or they are the wrong way around, or it doesn't work at all. One of the two. This is just going to be the death of me. I've literally just done a whole stream where all I did was optimize some textures, set up some materials for my hex thing. Still really wanting to um, do the game loop, um, which is like the whole thing was like by the end of today I'm going to have the game loop, and then tomorrow I'm going to do a load of polish, and I'm at this point where like I can't even get the basic math of a hex grid to work with the assistance of like a LLM. So like I should just stop making video games. Um, Touch some graph. Touch some graph. Yeah, I will go. I will go for a walk. Actually, what time is it? It's 5 p.m. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna eat dinner. I'll be like an hour and to 2 hours. Hang out with my kid for a bit. Contemplate life, math, and everything. And I will do this math off stream so I don't waste any more time doing that, and then I'll report on my findings. Because then when we get back and the math is done, it's all just fun from there as far as I'm concerned. It's like it's polished, right? Because I've got like a game loop down, and now I'm going to do like a CAD group and all these sorts of things. I just need the hex grid, which is like the crux of the entire game, to work. So I'm going to do that off stream, and then I'll report on the solution afterwards. But I think it's pretty boring just sitting here with you guys popping in and out and being like, who the hell is this guy? I'm not watching this guy. Screw this guy. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. This guy's just sitting there staring at his monitor, asking ChatGPT to solve all his problems. Stop writing bad code. I can't. Make no mistakes. Just telling ChatGPT, make no mistakes. Yeah, take a shower, man. Yeah, for real. It's hot. I'm looking forward to the shower, yeah. What the hell is going on with this hex grid? Using the wrong units for rounding input. I mean, I'm going to read this one more time here. Yeah, core game dev, yeah. Wow, Navas. The struggle is real. Is real. Hex size divided by 2, radius. Cool. Snap dex? What am I doing here? Snap dex. Radius. 3 divided by 2. RQ. Cool. Y. Radius. Square root of 3. As far as I know. RQ divided by 2. Yep. Sweet. X and Y. Wonderful. So what happens if I just flip that? What if I've done something dumb there? Whoa. Nope. That doesn't feel right. What if I just don't change the Y? So just change the X. That's good. X and Y works wonderful. What if I don't? That Y doesn't look very good to me. Let's draw debug sphere at the plane intersect position. Radius 100, segments 12. We'll draw it in red, or pink in this case. We'll draw it for 1 second at thickness 5. Wow. We'll draw it at thickness 1, radius 50 actually. We'll draw it at radius 5. It's so many code problems with fixing the shower. Yeah, like and a walk, like literally any time I've stepped away from the PC, I've solved my code problems, or I've come up with another method that will achieve the same result. And oftentimes that second idea of a method is actually a better way of doing it. It's like less code, more optimized, or whatever. It's like, why didn't I just do it that way the first time? That would have been so much easier. For example, here, if I'd have first started out with, I have a location and I want to draw a number of hexagons around this location, and then I just had that math. And then from there, what I did was just draw a world of like single ghost tiles, which is what I want to do anyway. And then from there, when I'm dragging my items around, I'm literally just hitting the ghost tiles in the background, which is what I lerp to. Yeah, I've got a load of draw calls now. I've got like a world of like little grid for the ghost visualization. But I'm solving a problem. It's actually not the best solution, but it is another solution. It's not the best solution at all. I only want the number of ghost tiles I actually need, which is the ones that are around my hex. I'm going to try and carry on for a second. What I've noticed when disconnecting the X return and only affecting the Y position is that moving my mouse up and down the screen does change. Actually, what axis are we in? Arrow. Let me just double check that my assumptions are correct here. This is currently facing in the X vector. I'm going to ensure that it's world rotated, so it's still rotating the facing the X vector when we're in the game. That's the X vector. Right. Yeah, and the Y vector is, well, Y up is this direction, right? Hang on, is that perspective? Details. Is this negative? It is negative. I always thought that would be positive Y. Oh no, I guess if... I'm just forgetting everything now. This is negative X, negative Y. Yeah, Y is positive in that direction. Cool, sure. We're actually facing... We're actually rotated. We are doing some weird stuff. Our X is to our right, and our Y is to our bottom. I feel like I should probably... Let's have a look at this. I feel like this should probably be rotated this way. This should be my forward vector. In my world... What? Yeah, that's world aligned now. Should be like this. My camera is now like rotated incorrectly, right? Does that make sense? If that's X forward in our game world, that's what I want to be at the top of my screen, and that I want to be positive Y over there. That's what makes sense to me, at least. If I was making a top-down game, like I'd want to do it like that: X forward, Y to the right, at least in Unreal. Let's go look at our character. Core, pawn, viewport, camera, X up. Cool. Now when I move left and right, it doesn't move as far as I would like, but it is moving, and it's not going. It is partially moving up and down. Each face of the hexagon do a line trace for another hex. If it hits, it creates a ghost hex. For the ghost hexes, I'll likely do something very similar. Um, well, honestly, for the ghost hexes, the way I was going to do it, and for the first hex, the hex ghosts, and then the second ring, is because I know I'm doing things in concentric rings. I'm going to have a function that's like, given this hex, give me 2 rings, give me 3 rings, give me the position at the third ring, give me the positions at the second ring, and it will just basically create me that ring. And the reason that that function is really nice is I can later on, when I drop a building on a tile and I want to make the first tile do a bit of a bob, and then I want to make all the ones next to it do a bob, instead of well, not instead of line tracing, but instead of line tracing out from this one, um and having to handle any edge cases there, I literally just have a top down, like I have a circle of traces, I'm just going to grab them. I'm only ever going to do that like 1 or 2 rings, so it's never going to be too many traces. Um, but I will get them dynamically because I'm not going to, yeah, like a shockwave, yeah. I'm not going to store every nearby neighbor in every single hex. That's just way too much memory. So yeah, I'm going to definitely do traces, but I'm not going to do it out from the hex. I'm going to have some logic that gives me the hexes that I want at any given time. So I got a really itchy nose today. I've always got an itchy nose, to be honest. It makes me look like a freaking addict or something. When I only affect the Y output, not using the X, my hex moves left and right, but it only moves to negative 100 and 259 or plus 259. If I go up and down, it moves to plus 86, minus 86. Eighty-six, 43, 0, negative 86, I presume. Yeah. I need to print the. I need to print the deproject screen, mouse here, world position, world line intersection, this. I want to print that. I'm just going to print that as A, and I'm going to print this as B. And that little will do the job. So my X is 270. X starts at the center of the screen in the world. X is up the screen, Y to the right of the screen. Mouse wheel pause X is, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Let's see what it says. It's, Shao Cave. I like Shao Cave. I know what you meant when you said shockwave, yeah. Thanks. That's a critical detail. If X is up your screen and Y is to the right, so you're working in Unreal World space where X is forward on screen and Y is right on screen. But this is different than the conventional 2D hex layout, which expects that X is right and Y is up. So the core of your issue is that you're applying hex snapping formulas, assuming a traditional 2D XY coordinate system, but your Unreal World axes are flipped for hex math. So here are the fixes. Wonderful. I didn't give it enough context, telling it what I was doing. This is a lesson with GPT that I always forget. I tell it what I want, but I forget to tell it what I'm doing, right? So usually the best thing to do is to start off and be like, I am drawing a hex grid from a camera looking down the Z-axis at the world where X is up and Y is to the right, and now let's continue the conversation. If you don't do that, you get this kind of issue. And so fall on me. The math is wrong because I didn't tell it enough information in the first place, which by now I wish I'd just bloody learned because I've done it so many times. I've done this so many times now. Not hex grid math, but like using LLMs to quickly solve like math formula problems, to just like jump ahead of the curve. But like not this time. Swap inputs when converting world position to axle. Assume that impos X is Unreal forward and impos Y is Unreal right. Yes. XY, yes. XY, cool. Use these in your hex snapping math. Q 2 divided by 3 multiplied by local pos X divided by radius, yes. Minus 1 divided by 3 multiplied by the local pos X plus the square root of 3 divided by 3 multiplied by the local pos Y. I swear to God, it looks like it's doing this. I'm going to try this. Okay. Converted snapped axial. So the output X is radius multiplied by 3 multiplied by RQ, yes. Radius square root of 3 RQ divided by 2, yes. What? Okay. No. If my mouse is positive X in world space, I want my hex to snap to the nearest hexagonal position to that X position and output an X position at the nearest snapped hex. Same for Y. If my mouse is hitting in world space at positive Y, I want my hexagon to follow the mouse and snap to the nearest hexagonal Y position, such that dragging my mouse around and feeding the... I need to go shave. It's really annoying me. And feeding the math my XY world position outputs the nearest XY world position on a hexagonal grid where the origin of the central hexagon is 000, i.e. center of that hex is 000. Hopefully that's enough like extra additional context. I mean, you're not seeing this, but like I'm writing this into a prompt, right? Yeah, you get the idea. Okay, so I give it an XY position. It's now telling me Q is 2 divided by 3 multiplied by the imposition X divided by the radius. Cool. The radius is the hex size X divided by 2. Cool. It certainly is. The other one is minus blah, 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 blah. That seems fine. Minus Q minus R. Minus Q minus R, yes. That's for S, yes. Round the cube coordinates, round them, absolute them. If they're more than RQ is minus RR minus RS. RR is minus RQ minus RS. If DR is more than DS. And if DQ is more than DR. And DQ is more than DS. Okay, awesome. That's right. I swear, so far it's reading exactly the same, even though I told it some extra information. Snapped X radius is multiplied by 3 divided by 2 multiplied by RQ, yes, and then radius multiplied by the square root of 3 RQ divided by 2. Cool. Okay, wonderful. Blueprint math expression node. Yeah, that's not going to work. That didn't work last time. It's not going to work this time. I mean, maybe it will work. Let's see. Math expression. Control V. Nope, doesn't work. It's the error. Pass error. Yeah. As expected. Because there's if statements in there, which just doesn't make sense. The thing I'm going to change here is hit under mouse. Oh, what's over here? what I've quickly done is I've like given it this, and now it's like, oh yeah, I understand what you mean even more now. I feel like going to Stack Overflow and finding this math might have been actually faster. Which is what I did like years ago in college when I built a hexagon game where you could like slam into the ground and all the hexagons would like move, which is something that I've been trying to redo in motion design, but I can't get it to interact with the world. I'll get there. Square root, calculate the square root of 3 first, then perform the multiplications -1 divided by 3 multiplied by in pos x and the square root of 3 divided by 3. What? Oh, and the square root of 3 divided by 3 multiplied by in pos x, y. Sure. Then add the two results from the previous step. Then divide the sum by the radius. So this may have been why I ended up like having it shoot all over the place. So that's cool. I still get the up down weirdness. So there's always stuff. There's always that. So instead of 3 divided by 2 now, it's giving me 0.75. And then instead of this, it's giving me multiplied by 0.5, which is the same. And it's only this one that matters right now. Snapped y is equal to r plus r hex size y. Oh, interesting. It's finally using hex size y. What? Hex size y multiplied by this number as my output. And it's actually... yeah, this should have been a red flag a lot earlier. I suppose radius may have given us this, but now getting hex x multiplied by points. Yeah, well, let's just take a look at the y. It's still not far enough, and the up and down is still affecting the y-axis. Yeah, I have a song going through my head right now from K-pop hunters, Demon Hunters. It's just like rent free in my head every time I don't have any music on. It's just like, oh, God. Okay, that's it. We're at 3:30, like on the dot. We're gonna call it. Right. I'm gonna come back later. I'm gonna have a break. 3 hours 30, faffing around with mathematics, with art textures, with um, art textures instead of programming textures. We were messing around with some. Oh god, I've got to take all this off. Right. So yeah, we were messing around with optimization. We batch processed 2,600 assets, which was cool. We found out that I need to basically. Well, I think I've just found out that I need to start from scratch with this and instead define the grid first. And then we'll crack on from there. And so I'm going to come back this evening and I'm going to carry on. And I'll also be streaming tomorrow at 9 a.m. Um, so that'll be 9 a.m. PST. I will be back. I will do more. I will finish this game. I'm absolutely dedicated to this. I've got Friday and Saturday. I'm really excited about the game. For those who haven't seen, it has a really cool design, but the implementation is going terribly right now. I have my checklist of all the things that I need to do. There's not even that many things. And it wasn't supposed to be complex. It was supposed to be a really simple game jam. It was like a hex grid. Anyone can do a hex grid. Anyone but me. And the name was really cool too. I really like it. I think it's going to be a cool. I think it's going to be a cool one. Eat, watch something, take a walk. Yeah, touch the grass. Probably run around a kids park with my kid playing Tig, because it's about it's about how that goes. So, all right, catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, keeping me sane. Hope it goes better. Yeah, hey Rewinds, welcome back to another Games Jam. You've seen this before. This time I tried to start with a game design, so I knew exactly what I was going to do. Look at this. I did loads of planning this time. The last Games Jam you were in, you hung out with me the whole time, and the Games Jam didn't really have a plan. This time I have like at least 20% of a plan. It's it's barely a thought. Lock myself in the bathroom? No, never, never. I will never accept defeat. I will make this code my anyway.